said, you probably have talked about it, but if Rekieta partakes of some sort of rehab, can it be used against him? It seems like the state couldn't bring that up. Typically, they won't. Now, I'm not an expert in Minnesota law, but from the people I've asked, voluntary rehab is typically not used against you. Gutty Bruin says, can he still get a plea deal if he's already in trial? I mean, you can plea up until you're sentenced. So it's possible. But remember, it's what the state puts on the table, and they may take it off the table at trial. And by the way, a lot of times they do take it off the table if you're going to trial. They say all offers are rescinded. All offers are off the table if we go to trial. Let's see. Natasha says, if he wins the challenge on the warrant, can this CPS case nullify a warrant challenge? Well, the CPS case is a little bit separate. There's separate factors. Now, I will say I'm definitely not a CPS expert, so I don't want to get too deep in the CPS case. It would require me to do a lot more research to catch up, and I'd probably want to have somebody on to talk about CPS a little bit more. But they are two separate proceedings. So understand that, like, if something impacts one proceeding, it might not necessarily impact the other. My cat's name is Karen. Says, I heard that Nick's trust fund paid out more money for each kid he had. Now that makes sense. I don't know. If that is the case, that would be very interesting. And that would be dark. If this is true, now I'm going to be honest with you guys. I didn't know about Nick's trust fund until the Turkey Tom documentary. And frankly, you know, that's the only time I ever heard about it. So just so you guys know. Spencer said, I take prescription amphetamines. Coke has similar effects, but distinct metabolites. Hair follicle tests provide months-long record of exposure. It'd be easy for a 3-day party lab to verify results. A third-party lab. Walking corpse is there, but for the grace of God. Indeed. Kate Endway says, hi, Legal Mindset. What happened to those Pcast streams with Drexel? Yeah, I haven't had Drexel in a while. Drexel's been pretty silent over the last 6 months. Very silent. Spencer Howard said, part of what led me to growing out of LARPy communist lefty community is exactly the same self-centered victim mentality Nick has, and it's bizarre. This is what I'm saying. Nick is not acting like some based chud. He's acting like a woke leftist sovereign citizen. Nick is literally doing the ACAB thing. I'm going to like lash out and rage at every single authority figure, right? There's a place and a time to take your fight. And if you're just raging at everybody, that is the wrong way to fight the battle. Germ says, Nick is innocent. Arrest his daughter. Yeah, I mean, look, for all those that want to blame the daughter, I'm not seeing any charges against the daughter at this point. So until I see charges filed against the daughter, I'm not blaming the children. Jake said, the warrant documents make it sound like the coke was all over the damn place in that house. It wasn't exactly locked down. The safe was open, for fuck's sake. And it was on the counter. There was also coke on the counter as well. So if people had access to that and he wasn't home, then yeah, it's completely possible that there was regular use going on. That would be possible. If it was just open and the door was open and it was on the bedside counter, you know, it was completely possible that a child got access to it. No one important said, on an unrelated note, what are your thoughts on the EN versions of Hollow and EG, Justice and Danuth? Oh, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Says Nick might have just got his lady Ashley sweep doxed, maybe swatted or even lose his job. And maybe that's what he wanted. And this is what I'm saying. Rosie, this is what I'm saying. Now, I don't think it was an intention, but I think that if the line keeps getting pushed, it starts to look more like witness tampering. I don't think we're there yet, but let's say she got swatted. Let's say she lost her job. Let's say people started posting, sending her death threats, right? That's not going to look good. Do you think that's good for Nick's case? Do you think it's good if someone sends her a document that's like, I wish you harm, signed follower of the law pope, right? That's not going to look good. And some people might view Nick's stream and see that as a call to action. Yuki Roma said, wouldn't it be a kick in the head if he released this himself to sell the conspiracy angle? Sorry, can't post anything past him. Okay, let me sell. Thank you. Very good point, Yuki. Very good point. So one of the reasons why I didn't comment on this is I am very wary of what the kids on the internet call the gay ops. And that's an old reference to the Medicare streams, the Medicare board back in the day. And what I mean is there's a lot of false flags type of stuff out there. There's a lot of fake documents circulating on the internet. It's very easy to fake stuff. So there was a need to say, is this authentic? And I tell you guys, hand to the heart here, hand up here, I would not have reported this unless it was confirmed literally by Nick. Wouldn't have done a stream on this. Wouldn't have done the stream tonight at all if Nick did not personally confirm this. Because frankly, I didn't see enough evidence. I was like, well, it's still not 100% to me, right? I don't know whether this is true or not. And I don't know what's out here. So, like, I didn't know it was vetted. And a lot of other people felt the same way. A lot of other lawyers felt the same way. A lot of people felt the same way. So I wouldn't have covered it because I was very much apprehensive of this. I know a lot of other people run with stuff. A lot of other people run with stuff on Twitter. They run with stuff. I don't do that. I take my time. I ask people. I say, what do you think this is legit or not? And when I don't know, I disclose. I say, I'm not sure about this, right? But as we saw in the Twitter post, Nick himself confirmed that the document stating his 9-year-old tested positive for cocaine is an authentic document. He's going to dispute the test, of course. He'll probably say it's a false positive or whatever else. But he said the document is authentic. He verified that this is an actual document. If Nick's asked for a retest and it pops positive, it probably makes the case worse for him. So it's double confirmed that the kid was exposed. That would be bad. That would be very bad for Nick. Tony says, don't forget CPS stuck in my state. They lost 1,700 kids in 2021. Come on, Andrew. Nick was very anti-state the whole time. Tony. Okay, Tony, bro. I feel like we're gonna get you the broom emoji here. But Tony, CPS can suck. Two things can be true. CPS can suck, and this is very true. And there's a lot of people that talk about CPS sucking. CPS can suck. This is very true. CPS can suck, and Nick could still be in the wrong here. Both those things can be true, right? So cops can sometimes lie, and they can also sometimes be right. Both of these things can be true. We live in a world where two things can be true. And just like some people lie and some people don't lie, I don't like when we get into entire categories of people and saying they are X. All people are X. No, let's go case by case. This specific person. That's what we do in the law. That's what we're supposed to be doing here on LawTube. God, I hate LawTube too, the moniker. But as lawyers on the internet, we should be going case by case because that's what the law does. The law is not everything is black and white. And if you fall in this category, you're automatically guilty or you're automatically innocent. That's not how it works. It's case by case, my friend. So yes, Nick is anti-state. Not always, though, by the way. We've covered police shooting cases. Go back and watch those. He was pro the police in the police shooting cases where the police shot certain individuals. Go back and watch the Potter case, right? In that case, believed, oh yeah, that was a clean shoot. Right? Go back and check that out. Kim Potter case, right? And she was ultimately convicted on that one, but thought about it the other way. So yeah, Nick's been quote unquote anti-state, but what about that is in the local government? Where is his attack on the Kandiyohi County, the Spicer, Minnesota, local PD, local system, local health and human services? Where's the motive? I don't see it. I don't see that Nick, having been on the internet and having drunk streamed a couple of trials that had the general theme of anti-government or not even anti-government, honestly, anti-bad government, anti-political prosecution, like with Kyle Rittenhouse. Thomas Binger was a deeply seething, politically motivated actor with a motive to lock Kyle Rittenhouse up on completely bunk charges. That is entirely not what we have here. Nick is not Kyle Rittenhouse. He did not snort this cocaine in self-defense, right? There wasn't a guy threatening to kill him, and so he snorted the cocaine. That's not what we have here, right? And trying to analogize this to be some sort of righteous cause, I don't see it. I really, truly do not see that this is going to become the righteous libertarian cause of drug use and child neglect in relation to that drug use. I don't think that child neglect and snorting coke is self-defense. Crazy, right? All right. Natasha says generally, but by the way, Tony, I want to say something. Thank you for at least keeping your question respectful. And as long as people keep questions respectful, I'm willing to entertain them. Natasha says, generally, from what I've read, the follicle testing covers 90 days of exposure from root to about 1.5 inch of the hair shaft. There you go. So if this use or exposure happened in 90 days, it's possible. I mean, maybe she rolled around in it. She used it as like shampoo or something. She had some cocaine shampoo. I don't know how that might work, but I mean, could there be a plausible reason? I guess, yeah. Lucia says, base lawyer, not the first, but factual in the end. That's my goal. That's my goal. With Go says, if there's a big government conspiracy, why did the only 9-year-old test positive? Unless it was a false positive and it shows that drugs weren't locked up away from the children, which is a narrative. Yes, it could be a false positive, but if it isn't a false positive, then it shows they weren't locked up and somehow that person got into it. And some people have said that kid was Nick's favorite kid. I don't know. I don't follow the Nick lore that closely. But perhaps if they were used to coming into that room, they could have gotten into it. Who knows? James Coon said, hey, Legal, hope your day is going good. I know I'm in the small minority, but why do you keep bringing up Eric as children's fault? I thought those were trolls or bad jokes. Why? No, it's not. No, James. It's not trolls. No. I bring it up because people are still saying that. No, James, bring up Eric July and the kids. This is not me trolling. There are people out there on the internet that to this day are still literally blaming the children. And there's at least one particular person. There's like 1 and maybe 1.5 that have mentioned Eric July, right? But the kids part, that is not me or trolling at all, right? That is not at all an exaggeration. There are people that still to this day make that argument, straight-faced make that argument. That's not me making this up. That's not me being hyperbolic. Stop Moss says, is it 100% over for Nick? Not in court, public opinion. Public opinion, it's looking really bad. Nick. I mean, is it 100% over? It's never 100%, right? I mean, there's people that have recovered from some pretty heinous shit and still made it out, right? But is it looking really bad? Yeah. I think we're in the 90s in terms of this is pretty damning for Nick, right? Now, if there was a miracle at trial and he wins and he proves it's a government conspiracy, yeah, sure, public opinion could go in his favor. It could even go radically in his favor. If he's able to prove that, yeah, man, if he's able to show a conspiracy and show a plot to get him, he can win some big public favor. I don't think that's likely. I'm being honest. I don't think that's likely. Based on the evidence we have now.